Welcome to 15 with Christine. I'm excited. Our special guest today is Jeff Drummonds, owner and founder of Jeff Drummonds Leadership and Professional Development. So let's get started. On 15 with Christine, we talk about all things business growth. But before we dive in, I want to let you know where you can find the broadcast. I'll come to you live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. Hit the subscribe button and you won't miss an episode. My goal with 15 with Christine is to introduce you to people who can help you grow your business, help you grow your career. And I'm excited to talk with Jeff Drummonds because he can help people do both. Jeff, it's been a pleasure to get to know you over the past couple of months, and so glad to have you here today for a conversation.
Hey, thank you, Christine. I'm excited to be here.
As I looked over your background and as we talked about, how you have come to where you are today as a leadership and human behavior expert, I'd like to ask you first about your leadership journey and how it started. When you were 18, right? In the Marines?
Yep. When I got out of high school, my parents begged me to go to college, and I said, "You really don't want me to do that?" And I joined the United States Marines, and it's been a great journey that I've had, and the Marine Corps really helped shape me to the person that I am.
So when you look at that choice you made, to go into the Marine Corps, what would you say you took from that choice, rather than, heading to college instead? And by the way, thank you for your service. And I think that's a fantastic choice.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess the biggest thing that I took from it was the discipline I gained to leave once I got through with the Marine Corps, the discipline that I had gained to go throughout my career and help me to achieve the other things that I wanted to achieve in life.
Right. That makes sense. So how did you transition from what I believe you were an airplane mechanic, right?
Yep.
Worked on the A6, the C-130. How did you transition from doing that in the Marines to your, long and successful career at Altec?
Well, before I went to Altec, I actually worked for Hayes Aircraft, which was then Pimco Airplex. Yeah. And Pimco Airplex is when I went to a leadership role. I was really blessed and actually ended up being the youngest project manager they had ever had over the KC-135s and over all the military operations. And then I went to Altec in 1995 and worked there for 25 years, which Altec is, of course, as you know, a great company that originated here in Birmingham, but is also a worldwide company.
Yes. How did, your foundation in the Marines apply throughout that entire journey?
I think it goes back to the discipline and to really always having a desire to learn and grow and expand my capabilities on how I can develop myself and help others.
Yes. What was it like being one of the youngest leaders, leading that project?
It was a lot of fun. The older guys, I'm the older guy now, but at that time they'd call me boy boss.
Yes.
And so it was pretty fun. I had a lot of good friends.
So as I love that, boy boss, how did you earn, I guess, the respect and the right to lead from that team when you were so much younger? Do you mind if I ask that question?
I think it was a matter that just the success there again, I give the credit to God, was the success that we had on the project. It had been successful at one point. It had gone way down, and we turned it around and got it successful again.
Cool. How would you describe the type of teams that you have led over your career? Maybe even the size of the team, the makeup of the teams?
Yeah, so a lot of my career was spent in operations, including the project management of the aircraft contracts at Hayes and Pimco, but then also operations within Altec Industries. And then in the year 2000, I actually moved over out of operations into a IT role as a support role
Yes.
not with an IT background, but more as a functional, and helped to implement Oracle throughout Altec over the next 10 years, which was a really, really great learning experience for me, and been able to travel all over the country, meet a lot of great people that worked within Altec, and then also learn all of the processes and systems from, not just operations, but also engineering and purchasing and inventory, finance, sales, the whole gambit.
What was your favorite thing about working on that 10-year, Oracle implementation?
Getting to work with a lot of different people, and by having the background that I had of coming, through the ranks at Hayes and PIMCO, and then I got to an opportunity to work with people all the way from, the shop floor leaders all the way up into the general managers that were running the operations. And it was just a lot of fun getting to work at all those different levels.
So were you able to really see where maybe the root of a problem was, or where the root of an opportunity for change? While working with such a broad spectrum in the company.
Yeah, always, Altec is real big on process improvement, lean manufacturing, and always on continuous improvement. So in everything that we did, we would go in looking for ways that we could not just implement a new process, but also improve the existing process.
That makes sense. So what would that was a situation where you had a lot of internal customers, right?
Yep.
What are some of the things they would say about working with you?
But it was really pretty interesting because I retired from Altec in the middle of the pandemic. Wow. And so to do this full time on my own with Drummonds leadership. And so my retirement party was a virtual retirement party. So actually, instead of just having something local, I had people on my retirement party from all over the country at different Altec locations. And so I got to hear a lot of good memories that people had of our times together and working together and the things that we did. So that was very special.
Is there anything specific that stands out to you? And wow, what a blessing to get to hear from people all over the country that you helped.
Yes, I guess the thing that stood out to me the most is that I said it to my wife afterwards, and she was in the background listening. But, a lot of times you don't tell people how important they are or how much they mean to you, but you say it at their funeral. Right. I got to hear it while I was alive. That was cool.
I'm glad you got to hear that. So what led you to launch, Drummonds leadership, to go from having those internal clients that you served to developing a book of business of clients that you're helping achieve their own goals?
Yeah, that was a God thing too. So in 2015, we had our first grandson. And so I was really seeking, what's my purpose and what's my legacy? Yes. And that's where God led me to the John Maxwell team. And so I became a Maxwell leadership coach and trainer. And then we put a plan together for me to be able to retire and do this full time, because I really have a passion for adding value to people, helping people to grow. Helping young leaders not make the mistakes I made as a young leader.
That resonates with me, for sure. What attracted you to the John Maxwell organization as far as being a support for you, a resource for you?
Actually, John Maxwell mentors my pastor at my church. Yes. And so him coming and speaking at our church, and then when I started really seeking what my purpose was, I came across the John Maxwell team, and I knew this burning desire, this burning passion inside of me was, this is what I'm supposed to do.
That's exciting. Yeah. It's been a pleasure getting to know you, Jeff, and, hear the testimonials that you have on your LinkedIn page, get to know you better personally. What would you say you enjoy the most about helping people grow and change? Whether it's helping them understand their communication style, maybe some of why they do what they do, what's comfortable for them, or whether that's working more on the process side of the equation. What brings the most, I guess, passion to you? What is most rewarding to you?
I think the most thing that is the biggest rewarding to me is helping people to reach their full potential, both personally and professionally, to be able to work with them and talk to them about, what their goals and aspirations are. Hey, what are some of the fears that are holding you back from reaching those, and helping them work through that, so that they can realize all their potential that God has given them.
Yes. So Jeff, if, when a business owner or an individual reaches out to you, how do you typically kind of help them uncover that? How do you start the conversation?
So the thing that I do is a discovery meeting. So
Yes.
I like to sit down with them and ask questions, make sure I understand their relevant idea, not to come with anybody with any kind of menu of here's everything that I
Right.
offer, because
Right.
I have a pretty big toolbox with all of the John Maxwell material, but to come with them with more of learning what their needs are and how I can help them individually, or how I can help their team to grow. And from there, the things that I learned, then I will go back and talk to them about where I think we could start at.
That makes sense. You were sharing with me earlier about some of your larger clients. Just curious, as you have really become a fabric of their organization, what would some of those clients say if I asked them, hey, what's it like to work with Jeff?
I think they would say that, that the things that I bring to them not only help them in their professional life, or it only help them in their business, but it's also things that also improve their personal life, things that they can apply into their relationships, things that they can apply into the way that they are at other civic organizations and at
Yes.
home, and not just within the business.
Yes. By any chance, are there any specific examples maybe that you're comfortable sharing, or any stories?
Well, I think the biggest thing one of the biggest things that I like is talking about influence, because we all have influence, and it's really a matter whether you're going to be a positive influence or a negative influence, right? And so, I like to really talk to people about how that they can add value to people, and that's the way that they become. One of John's principles is that leadership's influence, nothing more, nothing less, and that you gain influence with people by adding value with them. And once I understood that that's the way that I can gain influence with people, is by adding value with them, I'm like, lights on. That's such an easy thing to do, because people are hungry for other people to show them, hey, I care about you. You can trust me, and I want to help you.
Yes. That's very powerful. What else would you say has helped you generate maybe those aha moments, or those applications that really make a difference for your clients?
I think it's this really the listening skills, and that's the biggest thing, is that people want to know that they're heard, and being able to ask good questions, and then listen, and not just but listen with an open mind and an open heart to understand where they're coming from, and then being able to lead them in the direction that they want to go.
You're exactly right. Listening is such a needed skill as far as really applying it. We've got about 30, 40 more seconds, Jeff. Do you have anything to add specifically on how you help your clients learn to listen? It's one of those skills that it's easy to talk about, but it can be tough to execute.
It is very tough to execute, but it's all about being intentional. It's really about, I believe in the saying, it happens before it happens. And so it's really thinking into it before you ever go into a situation, and then having yourself prepared to know that this is the way I want to act in this situation. And I want to be a good listener, and I want to be adding value every time I get a chance.
Yes. Helps you be proactive and not reactive, right?
That's correct.
Yes. Well, Jeff, thanks so much for taking the time for this conversation. And, if you're watching or listening and you're thinking, maybe I should reach out to Jeff, his information's right here on the screen below. You can reach him at jeff@drummondsleadership.com or 205-807-4506. Jeff, appreciate the conversation. If you're listening or watching, appreciate your time invested in 15 with Christine. We'll be back 2 weeks from today with another fantastic conversation. Have a great day.